Hi, I'm Paris, and this Christmas I am focusing on gifts that keep a person warm and aren't too expensive. And today, again, I'm thinking about when you're sitting at your computer for an extended time, what can help you feel warm? Well, I like to bring a cup of hot tea with me to drink while I'm gaming, hot coffee, hot chocolate. The key word is hot. The problem is, especially if it's cold in the room that you're in, that drink's going to get cold pretty soon, and it may still be tasty, but it isn't going to be keeping you warm unless you happen to have a USB connected drink warmer. Now what I really wanted was a USB powered drink warmer, just a little thing that you put your drink on, gets the electricity from the computer, the USB port keeps the drink warm. There's really not a lot of power that comes through, especially the older USB ports, 5 watts or so. And from the reviews I read, not enough to keep your drink warm. You really do need to plug into a wall outlet. So this one plugs into the wall outlet and does over 20 watts of heating. So the review said it really does keep the drink warm, but it also has a USB port on it. Or even if you're not sitting next to the computer, maybe out in the living room watching TV, you've got this on the end table next to you with your drink on it. It's got the USB port in front. You can just run that right over to your phone. And instead of having to plug it in and unplug it each time you want to use it, it's activated by the weight of the mug or cup on the little round device that it sits on. Here's what it looks like. Can't wait to give this a try because it would be nice to have my hot drinks stay hot longer. Yeah, it's a little bit on the fancy side. So here is where the drink goes, and somehow it has a scale in there to tell when there's a weight on it. Here's the USB port on the front. Now the instructions call it a microgravity switch, so I hope the cup doesn't go floating off of it. We'll test this out and see how that works. They also mention here if you have a flat bottomed mug or cup with the most surface area, you get the most heat transfer. If you have one that's got one of those air gaps in the bottom, you won't get as much heat coming through to keep your drink warm, and of course you wouldn't want to put something on this that might melt from the heat. It'll take a little testing to see how well this works. I'll check the temperature with my handheld thermometer and we'll see how well this can keep my drink warm. If it does a good job, I think this would make a great Christmas gift. It's both helps to keep someone warm and it's pretty affordable. Goes for about $25. You can find out more about it at the link down below this video. Okay, ready for some testing. The device works when the mug is placed on it with the liquid in it, so just the right amount of pressure. You can see maybe there the light's turned on. These mugs have a pretty big volume, so I'm not sure if that will make it harder for it to keep it warm, but I chose them because both of them have completely flat surface at the bottom for maximum heat transfer. There's the boiling water, 2 identical cups of Moroccan mint green tea. Okay, this tea will just go on a plain old coaster, and this tea gets to go on the new powered heater. Oh, that's a hot mug. Okay, there we go. Lights on. Let's take the temperature to start, and then we'll check every 15 minutes and see how they're doing. Okay. Side of the mug here is showing 171, 172. Yeah, low 170s. And over here, middle of the mug, yeah, low 170s. Okay, there we go. Let's give them a little time. It's been 15 minutes. Let's see how the room temperature cup is doing here. 130, okay, 130 Fahrenheit. And the cup that's on the heater. Ooh, 144. I'm seeing some difference. I'm curious what the temperature is on the platform beneath the cup, so let's move this over for a second. What's the temperature right here? Whoa! 237, 248, 260, 270. I did not think this would get that hot. I am not going to put my hand on it again. Tea goes back on here. Oh yeah, I noticed the light went off when I took it off. The light came on when I put it back on. Let's give it another 15 minutes. All right, it's been half an hour. Let's see how the cup on the coaster is doing. 111. Looks like 111 degrees. And the cup on the heater. Oh, it's still going down slowly. We're at 130, 138 versus 111. After 45 minutes, let's see what the cup on the coaster is at. 102 degrees. And with the cup on the heater, we are still in the 130s, looking good. And after 1 hour of sitting out on a coaster, this cup of tea is at 96 degrees. Yeah, that feels about right. And this cup of tea on the heater, still in the 130s. Oh yeah, definitely right too. And let me just check again that when I take the mug off of this, it turns off. Yep, put it back on. Turns back on. Okay, so now it's a half cup of tea. Still activates, so it'll still keep it warm. It's easier and more consistent with a heavier mug because it's definitely going to activate. And when I take all this water out, interestingly, it doesn't activate. Even, yeah, with the tiniest downward pressure, it does, and it stays on. So that's not as much of a safety feature as I thought. When I lift it off entirely, I definitely expect it's going to turn off, but I'm thinking if I left this on here, even empty, if at the time I put it down, if I put it down like that, there won't be an issue. If I put it down like that, walk away, this is going to stay on, and it's going to get this cup fairly hot. And that would be, even if it's not hot enough to burn my hand grabbing the handle, it's still going to be a surprise when I think this is a room temperature cup 2 hours later and go and grab it. So rereading the instructions on the coffee mug warmer, I learned that the activation switch is not here. The activation switch is this little guy on the bottom. So that explains why the positioning of the mug, if it's more towards the front, could cause this to go down even if the mug is empty. Also, reading in the instructions, you're not supposed to leave the empty mug on this. So once it says once there's just a little bit left, they recommend you take it off so it doesn't dry that up and create kind of dregs stuck at the bottom of your mug. If that automatic switch feature does bother you though, and you think you might forget to take your empty mug off and it might get hot, something bad could happen, they do sell a version of this that has an on-off switch. You just touch to turn it on, you touch to turn it off. So there's no relying on this little switch here to know what's going on with whether you have something on this or not. And so the concept's good. Now, if you like this one, about $25, I'll link to it down below this video. I'll also link to the version that has the touch on and off switch if you feel better with that. But it still does a good job of keeping your drink warm, so that can keep you warm, because you might be sitting in a house where you've set the thermostat at 65 Fahrenheit, just because heating is so expensive this winter, so ways to keep you warm are more important than ever, and I'll see you on the next review.
Epic review, guys. Wanna watch it all?